What's up, and welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, and Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
We hope you had
New Year, same old us.
Yes. Bringing you that Monday New Year energy, and hope you had a fun and safe holiday, and hope you're doing okay coming back to work and all that, or whatever you have to get back to.
That's
Back
me
to the
tomorrow.
grind.
No, thank you. But here we are.
Yes, we're here for all of you. So if you're live watching, join us in the live chat. We got it up. And if you're watching later, no worries. Comment down below. Let us know how your New Year's went. And did you do anything particular? Did you stay at home, go out, whatever? Let us know.
Well, what did you do for your New Year?
Yes. Well, hello. I am Carrie. And yes, for my New Year, I stayed home. I had a couple friends over and we did lots of yummy food and cooking. And we watched RRR all together, which was very entertaining. Having seen it and watching it with them and like, what do you think? It was fun to watch with other people, like a group, you know? And so
that
was
is
nice
why
keeping
people
things
like
low-key.
reaction videos.
Yes, indeed.
Crack
And
the
what
code.
about you?
I'm Katie. I went to a friend's 20s themed house party, took
Nice.
some absolutely ridiculous photos in her photo booth, one of which I already have put up on Instagram. And I also went to Little Tokyo and got myself a buddy. Because let's take that super adorable trickster energy into the new year. He's even got a little leaf.
It's so
Yeah,
cute.
I saw him. There's a little store. For those of you who are in Los Angeles and go to Little Tokyo, there is a store called Neko Stop that does just plushies and jewelry and blind box figurines, and it's just kind of a really cute store. And there was a cart with a bunch of these plushies pushed halfway under a shelf, and I saw him, and every adult instinct in my brain was bypassed for hug. So I picked him up and hugged him, and then I went, oh, no, I gotta now. So if I wind up holding him for like the entire broadcast, that's just kind of been my weekend, is just holding a kitsune. I'm just like, yep.
I
Little squishy
totally
trickster.
get that. It's tucked away, but I got a plushie at Comic-Con from a friend, and I literally was walking around holding it. I was like, this makes me so happy. It's so soft and squishy.
There are very few things that bypass everything and go, must hug, but this guy and then my blooper both did that. It was like, nope, I'm just going to sit here and hug that. That's going to, and for those going, what the hell is a blooper? Took pictures, put them on my Twitter. It is another buddy's plush character that they created, and it's adorable. It's like a chubby axolotl. Oh, so cute.
Well, back to also speaking of the chat, let's say hello to some of our chat people too. Got Digga Derek saying it's Monday. You know what that means. We love that energy.
Big Monday energy.
Charles Darcy says Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Gig Derek also says, howdy everyone. My New Year's was more retail chaos. Oh, hope you survived well enough. Because yeah, that is
everyone else's resolution needs to be to chill.
Yes.
And I say this is someone who called 2 different flavors of customer service today.
We also got Charles Darcy saying, ready for the new anime season to begin soon. Yes.
Yeah, like 4 days. 3-4 days. Trigun drops on Friday. Y'all, Trigun drops on Friday. And I think we are going to be covering that because the episode...
My hero is in a weird hiccup of time.
Yes, but I don't think we're going to get to. So for My Hero, there was supposed to be an episode this past weekend, and it, along with half a dozen other anime, were delayed until this coming weekend. So I don't think we're going to get 2 My Hero episodes. I think everything is just pushed a week for probably for the new year, honestly, to give people a little vacation time. Like, I'm not going to blame anyone for not wanting to work over the holidays. Let's be real.
Right? Well, we can take this energy. Giga Derek says, I survived with the power of spite and bourbon.
Oh, okay. You know what that is? That's a new light novel, a new young adult novel title. Because you know how it's always like this, of this, and this? It's like the Children of Ash and Bone or whatever.
Yes.
This is the power of spite and bourbon. It's a new young adult novel fantasy.
I'd watch it.
That is your metric now. Anytime it's the blank of blank and blank, it's a young adult novel title. I don't make the rules.
Charles says they delay episodes for the New Year's. Yeah, it's one of the biggest holiday in Japan. Oh yeah, it's more.
Oh yeah.
It's how do they plan to come back on schedule?
Mm-hmm.
But whatever, we'll be getting more episodes and we'll take it as we go. And I'm excited. And and we'll be talking also. Heads up for the episode if you all are new here, which one, welcome. But to My Hero, we'll talk about that. Spy Family, continuing on with anime news and exciting things coming up, as well as our recommendations of other things you should be checking out. So
yes.
And then one of the things we are excited about, Triguns, Saturday the 7th.
I'm double check dates. It's the 7th. If that's a Saturday, it would be because January was the 1st.
Yes.
I'm really good at math. If January was the 1st, if
January
was a Sunday.
Yeah.
We have a Friday the 13th next week.
Yay!
Spooky things dropping in January are never quite as good as the spooky things that drop in October.
The Friday the 13th is still fun. Well, let's get into our, speaking of things we're excited about.
Yes. All right, we have a few. Our first is from my brain that refuses to work. Comic and graphic novel publisher Ablaze has announced their summer lineup. So looking forward to summer 2023 with the publication of a trio of manga, manhwa, and webtoon graphic novels. So we're looking at, the first one is Wakfu, which has had an anime adaptation, has been absolutely wonderful. Wakfu is just charming. So we're getting graphic novels for that. Next up is Terraman, a manhwa series based on the Korean webtoon. And then the third is a manga series called Centaurs, which delivers the story of adventure and freedom inspired by Japanese mythology and features impressive art and character designs by Sumiyoshi, who also created creatures for the Monster Hunter game series. So
cool.
Even just sign up for that one for the art, y'all. So, yeah, that should be, it looks like we have one cute fantasy, one, we're going to go with a little bit sci-fi, a little bit horror, if you're looking at Terrorman, and historical AU fiction in Centaurs. So look forward to those from Ablaze Press, and those are going to be dropping in, it looks like all three of them are June 2023, if I'm reading these dates correctly. Yep, so June 2023 for the first two, and then Centaurs in July. So
we'll be here before we know it.
Oh God, don't do that to me. Mark your calendars. Mark your calendars. Set them for pre-orders if the pre-orders are available, and check those out. We also have an announcement from HIDIVE. HIDIVE rings in the holidays early for fans with Winter 2023 simulcasts of Farming Life in Another World and Ippon Again. So Farming Life in Another World, we're looking at another isekai. When a godlike figure gives Makio Hikaru a chance to live again, Hikaru has the simplest of wishes for a new life: to be healthy, to live peacefully, to speak the local language. This is a smart guy. This is a smart human. And to spend his days on an idyllic farm. So it sounds like that's going to be a cute sort of pastoral isekai fantasy. So that sounds like a fun one. Ippon Again. After one last tournament and an embarrassing loss in the final round, Michi decides to call it quits on the sport of judo. Between high school social activities and entrance exams, she'll have no time to compete in the martial art she loves most, but putting aside old hobbies is a normal part of growing up. Still, the love of judo lingers, and it comes back full force when she meets her new classmate, Toa, the girl who bested Michi in her final match. Love plot twists like that. So it is a currently 20-volume sports drama manga series. So this is the adaptation that we're getting. And do we have dates? Winter 2023. So that's two of the slate of 14 titles that HIDIVE is dropping for this coming season.
Ooh,
so
14.
Keep an eye out. Yeah, 14 is what it says. So keep an eye out for those. Those should be fun.
Charles says, lots of farming isekai these days. We just want something relaxing and mellow, maybe. So much going on.
Yep. I'm honestly waiting for a couple of the more buck wild isekai that Crunchyroll has announced to drop
speaking
soon.
of Crunchyroll, I think we have Crunchyroll news.
We do have Crunchyroll news. We have the review for the English dub cast of Tomo-chan is a Girl. Now, Tomo-chan is a Girl is dropping in 2 days. We are getting the broadcast on January 4th at 10 a.m. Pacific. And it looks like we are getting the English dub same day as the Japanese broadcast. So that should be fun and interesting. Thank you, brain. I've got 5 sentences ahead of myself. Tomo-chan is a Girl is based on the 2015 4-panel manga series of the same name, produced by animation studio Les Deuce, which is known for Heroines Run the Show and Fate Grand Order First Order. So Tomboy Tomo couldn't have picked a more awkward high school crush because it's on her childhood friend, but he only sees her as one of the guys. Despite her pretty looks and signals, nothing gets through to this meathead. Will Junichiro ever realize Tomo's into him and see her for the cutesy girl she actually is? So we have Lexi Nieto and Rico Fajardo as our 2 starring roles. And for those going, boy, that latter name sounds familiar, he's voicing Mirio in My Hero Academia. With Jad Saxton, Sally Amaki, Christopher Lewin Ramirez, and it's an Irish name, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Ciaran Strange, rounding out the rest of our cast. So this looks like it's going to be fun. If you're here for a rom-com, and the fact that it's based on a 4-coma tells me that, yeah, this is going to be very comedy heavy. If you're here for a rom-com, Big Monday energy. If you're here for a rom-com, Tomo-chan is a Girl drops in 2 days, sub and dub, so check it out. You are muted.
Yes, I did that before I was taking my beverage, and thank you. We do ASMR when we do our snacks. Nobody needs to be drinking.
And I'm going to open this chip bag very slowly, and then I'll take a potato chip, and I'll eat it.
You know, I've seen some that are relatively interesting ASMR videos on TikTok, but some are just like, you know what, to each their own kind of a thing of like,
it works really nicely for people when I need noise on. I put on Overwatch League, and that is the exact opposite of ASMR. So, Yep.
Charles said, so excited for Tomo-chan. Fans have been waiting on that to get in for a long time. Noise.
Alrighty. Good.
I was like,
I am excited for the fans who are excited. It's nice to be looking forward to fun things. And I say that as someone who is staring at the 7th like, Trigun! Gimme! So here we are. Crunchyroll keeps posting character art, and I'm like, you're tempting. Just give me. Just give me.
One that I'm excited about because this ends so like we have been on this like adrenaline high, and now I feel like we're on a free fall of like, what? No, or floating in the abyss. We are in a yeah.
I'm going to be honest, this episode was kind of in one ear and out the other. And I think that's also me still being completely exhausted and not having recovered from my vacation, which I got caught in the Southwest apocalypse, you guys, and that was draining. But you're right that we've been on this. Yeah, me too. You're right that we've been on this adrenaline train for a very, very long time. But I'm kind of hitting the point of like, it's starting to feel a little bit like Return of the King endings, where you think we're done, and then something else happens, and then you think we're done, and then something else happens again. Like, this is like our 5th or 6th second wind in this battle that has changed the tides. And I understand that we have to get things to a point where this isn't the end of the anime. The anime has to be able to continue on. We have to be able to maintain at least some villains so we can continue to, you know, all that fun stuff. We can't have a complete victory or a complete defeat right here. But holy cow, this is exhausting. And this episode really does feel like we are on, I'm going to say the downward slope, the falling action. There we go. That's the phrase. Downward slope is has some rude implications, and that's not what I'm going for. We're on the falling action side of things.
Yep.
And it really kind of feels like it. And I think the problem is that it feels like it.
Yeah, like
and that it's taking.
It's such an interesting pace change from what we were watching of like nail biting everything, and then this without the next episode really feels like.
Well, My Hero Academia is also really good at it goes until it's done. And then you have an episode or two of, okay, let's breathe for a minute. So the fact that this one did not do a go until it's done, it's been doing a lot of this, you really feel it because it is very different for this show. I, for one, am super done with Dobby. Like, I'm done with this guy. I'm not even fed up. I'm at the point where it's like, can you just exit stage left and never come back? Like, if we give Dobby a sock, will he be free? Can he go? Like, I'm really just done with him. I don't find him interesting anymore. And that,
or it's,
and that's a me problem. That's a me problem. Stopping mid-exhale is a good way to put it.
Yeah, because it really, we don't get that release that it's done.
Yeah.
We don't have, it's just see, like, where is this going to turn hopeful or at least improve the situation?
Yeah. And I mean, we're having Compress's last stand, and like, this is a really interesting backstory for him, talking about his bloodline and being descended from essentially the Robin Hood of Hero Society. So that in and of itself is interesting. The problem is, he's like the fourth person to have a second wind, a backstory reveal, change the tide of battle. Like, guys, it was extremely powerful when we got it from Twice. It was foreseen, but still game-changing when we got it from Dobby. By the time we get around to Compress, we're done. We are wrung out. It's such good lore, but it comes at the tail end of so much. It is our 9th course this meal. We are finished.
Exactly. It's that point, like, okay, we get it. Can we move on to the next beat?
We've had the appetizer, we've had the aperitifs, we've had the meat and the potatoes, we've had the fish course. I'm sorry, this is the fruit. And then our come down breathe episode is going to be the dessert. You never want to be the fruit course. You just don't. So, like, that's where we are in this ridiculously long, anxiety-inducing meal, and we are just ready to get dessert and be heckin' done with everything. So, sorry if Compress is your favorite character. He got his moment. It's very interesting. It didn't hit and because we're all really tired.
Like, how he got out of Genus binds. I'm like, okay, well, that was interesting and really cool. Like, disturbing, but cool.
It's like, let me just take a chunk out of my thigh. It's like,
yeah.
All right. Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's great.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, didn't even talk about the hero side of things where we keep doing that too. It's just like, nah, nope. The game has changed too many times. I'm done. I just tell me how it ends. I'm just gonna lie here for a while.
Well, no spoilers, but I agree. Okay, things are. Charles says no spoilers, but things aren't going to get very hopeful. Aren't going to get hopeful for a while. Hero Society is forever changed from everything that just happened.
Well, yeah, but I just need an episode to exhale.
Yes,
like we're at the point where it's like, just stop.
That's a movie too. Yeah,
we have hit and surpassed. Just stop at this point. I'm not expecting a return to status quo.
Rainbows and sunshine, everything hopeful, but it's more the, and maybe that's a good thing that Hero Society is changing, because clearly we learn from Spinner's, and we get a Spinner backstory.
Yes,
I thought his was interesting too. Of like, absolutely, the ones who get deformed, if you will,
mutated, as it were, where
they look weird to the rest of the society. Some of them, and what is their life like? Yeah.
And I mean, our example when we first saw All for One using his quirk was a guy who had horns coming to him and saying, I hate this, I don't want this, get rid of them. So, quirks aren't always the nice, fun superpowers. Sometimes it's, you will never find a shirt that fits again. Just things like that.
With spikes all over their body, that too.
Yeah, things like that. And I mean, Hawks, all of his stuff has to be custom built.
Yep.
Just
He
things
wears it
like
so
that.
well though.
He does. That sometimes your quirk is an
Yes.
inconvenience at
Yep.
best.
Yep.
So yeah, and then like having that little bit where they're beating up the cult of people who hate people with quirks that make them look different. Like, all right, kids, cool, 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 cool. Great. Glad to know people like that exist too. So
Are we
it's
surprised? No, probably not.
no, of
You know.
course
Yeah.
not. People are people. Some of them are just assholes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it was a lot of backstory, a lot of going into things, and it just again, we're fitting as much in here as we possibly can. If you've heard the metaphor about like, oh, well, when you're planning your life and making time for things, you do the big rocks and then you do the smaller rocks and then you fill in the sand. We're at the sand portion of things here. We're just this is the sand. We're filling it in as much as we can. And it's like, okay, I'm done. So it's a little hard for me to get past that. There is a lot of good stuff in this episode in terms of, again, game changers, backstories, realizing that Shigaraki's trauma and hammering onto his trauma is what allows All for One to use his body and move in. Like, that's a very good point. Deku saying, I can't forgive you, but you're still asking to be saved. And I can still do that. Like, being able to draw that line there. That's also important. And it's something that I think we'll be able to look back on later on when we're looking at a season retrospective and looking at the beats, or if we get something later on that goes, oh, this fits into this thing that we saw at this point. But right now, too much. Done, tired, exhausted, whatever. It's kind of sad that that's the case because there's really good information and really good character beats here. It's just there's too many of them.
There is a lot going on where it's okay, we get it. Next.
All right.
Or that's the thing of having to wait week by week. Like, this might not be so bad if we had that next episode to be like, okay, what happens next? But now we have to sit here and wait and go, please hurry up.
Yeah. Again, falling action is kind of a hard one to just sit here and go.
There are plenty of episodes of different animes that I'm so thankful when it times out that I have to watch a couple episodes altogether, because it's like, oh, thank you. Because if I had to wait, it just makes it. But
rewatching Dragon Ball Z and going, oh, this is where I learned patience. 5 minutes on Namek,
Yep.
Anyway.
Were there any other major things in My Hero before? I was like, no, I think because it's just really who knows.
I really do find it interesting that part of just triggering Shigaraki's trauma is putting the hands back on him.
Yeah.
That it's comforting, but that it also still messes him up.
Yep.
And I'm wondering I'm wondering what the difference would have been for Deku. Like, it makes sense to go for the torso to try and latch onto that and drag him off. What would have happened if he'd gotten the hand? Just drag that extra hand off and seen, would Shigaraki have been awake as himself, or would he have just don't know. That's again, there's interesting things to dig into here, and we may well go back to this when we're not completely overwhelmed by literally everything else that has been happening this season, because it sure was nice to get a montage of heroes who are down for the count.
That too was a bit of a downer.
Whether or not any of them are alive. Like, that is getting to be where I'm going, this is like the third time we've seen Mount Lady just passed out face down. Is she okay? We don't even get to see Midnight. We just see a bloodstain and a mask. Like, are we going to get any answers at any point? We've definitely seen enough people die on screen this season, but like,
I was thinking this episode was particularly more violent because we had so many like close-up shots of people bleeding, their face bleeding, coughing, bleeding. Not that the show is for children, but it's like, ooh, we are getting
it's Shonen Jump. It's aimed at middle schoolers.
Yeah, so this was a bit more intense.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of Shonen Jump stuff is pretty damn intense. It gave us
some of
Dragon
them,
Ball Z.
It's more like Dragon Ball Z is such to the point of absurdity, though, that it's not quite the same. Like these people are a little more, just a little more grounded, and the show is not normally that overtly bloody for like so many characters. Also, we get Best Genius with his eyes pretty much bloodshot and like,
he's got one lung. It's causing problems.
Giga Erico's 21 minutes of Goku and Frieza just staring at each other. Yeah.
Yep. That was watching DBZ in middle school.
Yeah.
Dating myself here. But yeah, no, it's I understand that the show really wanting to drive in like how out of the ordinary, not only for the tone of the show, but for the world of the show, this was. Driving home that like, yeah, it's not just that this show has gotten more intense. It's that this is crazy even for the world that the characters are in.
Yeah.
Like there's been this thing in the shadows for a while, but for the most part, the world at large doesn't know about it. And now things are going down and with no context, everyone's like, what the hell is happening? So yeah, society reacts. Next episode on My Hero Academia, I guess.
Well, I'm curious where it's going to go because I think I thought about it before, but right now this almost feels like a parallel of like celebrity worship in terms of, yes, the heroes have a job to do, but I think too many of the regular citizens rely and expect them to be like these things that they're not. And no, villains are dangerous and it doesn't mean they're always going to do the best job. So it's also like people who think celebrities are real of like all their persona that they put out there. It's like, that's not what they're really like. So I'm kind of wondering if this would be one of those, which I'm all, maybe that's actually a good thing that people get a reality check.
And I mean, we got our reality check as early as was it season 2? With Stain.
Yes, that's
like that was, and that keeps coming back around, and for very, very good reason, because that was publicized the way that he wanted. Like that is the reality check that people needed. That is something that made people wake up and go, oh yeah, no, there are some issues with hero culture. Like it's something that may have made people who wouldn't have otherwise considered it stop and think about things. It didn't speak to everyone in the same way that it spoke to Spinner, for example, but it's definitely maybe he's got a point. Maybe we do need to look at this. Maybe we need to. So there was already elements of hero culture not being all it's cracked up to be and celebrity worship being a big factor in it, but not a lot of people really knew how rotten the foundations were. And now things are starting to fall. Because
this kind of sounds like the real world.
It's like, okay, well, it would have been entirely possible to shore up the foundations and change things, but instead we got some asshole taking a sledgehammer to everything because it benefits him. So, there's nothing wrong with changing the system, but there is something to be said for working within the system to change it. If you decide not to work within the system, you tend to lose your power to change it because we don't have superpowers here. What I'm saying is vote in your local elections.
Yep.
If you refuse to be a part of the system, then you have no say in changing it, and that is a problem. So do not give up your say in the system. Yeah. So that's, I think we have a lot of people who are okay with the system or didn't realize exactly what it was or exactly what the inner workings were, because if you're not a hero and you're not familiar with this stuff and it's just kind of in the periphery, the way that Hollywood culture is kind of in the periphery, how would you know? So it's a very rude reality check, but it is also very much exacerbated by people who really do just want to watch the world burn. And that's not the greatest philosophy. Because that is people get murdered and I don't care, or people get murdered and I don't care because I did it philosophy. And that's, murder's not the way to go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not do that. Anyway,
no, show. Right. I was going to say yes, and we'll see for next time where it goes. We went on a beat longer, but I was going to say, addressing the system, jumping ahead in the episode, the moment that was very like interesting card to play, but cool, with our Lloyd Forger talking to Desmond's dad and going, I feel kind of silly saying it, but I didn't like this system either. How are you going to react to that? Obviously, he played it far more calm and cool. I'm just doing it exaggerated for our purposes. But that was an interesting interaction.
I didn't like the system until I heard third hand my daughter gushing about your son talking about what you do, and that got me looking into things. And it's like, you're leaning a little heavily on this. You may be playing this a little too hard. But
even
like,
Desmond's friends are like, dude, old man, what are you doing?
Like, hey, buddy, what? It's just like, okay, this was a wild one. This one, and just seeing the character design has always been extremely Boris Karloff to me. Boris Karloff as Frankenstein's monster. The long, sallow face, the big eyes, the stitches on the sides of his head. Like, did you have metal plates put in, or is that a war injury, or like, what did you do, my dude? What? So
he's an odd looking character for sure.
Very odd looking character, and then just the fact that we got Damien's older brother. We got a little bit of that. We got that phone call, and that his brother also has zero time for him. Like, Damien is very obviously a very lonely child. And again, he has, they're friends, but they're also kind of sycophants. So
they're just, they're
yes men. They're yes men. So, like, they're friends, but they're never going to push back.
Yeah, they're always. But I did appreciate, like we were saying, that they kind of called out Lloyd of going, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
But that was
like, no, they're still concerned, but also there's enough sycophant and there's enough yes man in there that sometimes you just really need to argue with your friends. Sometimes you really need someone to be able to go, hey, don't, or you sure I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe don't do.
Well, Becky calling Anya out and being like, "Oh, you being a stalker."
Like,
yes.
No, Becky calling it like she sees it is amazing. And we have the return of Martha.
Yes.
The special delivery cutaway got me. That was great.
And poor Anya, it's like a little kid trying to stay up for Santa Claus she's like, yeah, I'll be away for this.
It'll be fine. Nope. Like, oh, no, I feel that in my soul.
Past her bedtime.
And definitely a good thing that she wasn't there for this, because I think it would have been an unmitigated disaster.
Yes. Well, it not much seemed to happen, but it did seem like Lloyd was okay with it because it was still the initial meet. Yes.
Well, and I really appreciate that we got him. Anya running between the hallway like she's Naruto. Yep. The extremely terrible. Yeah. But I appreciate that we started this with Lloyd scoping things out, and we get the rundown of the absolutely ridiculous security in this meeting to kind of address the audience and go, this is why we're not trying for this. This is why we're playing this long game. You have to, because we've lost people in there before. And even the bit with Handler, who is still wearing the gaudy rings, which I love, with Handler talking to the junior agent and going, yeah, we'd send you in, you'd be caught in less than 5 minutes, interrogated in less than 10, and then we'd lose you forever. And then they'd tighten down security. So we're not doing that. Like, reinforcing why Operation Strix needs to be a thing and doing it organically so that it kind of shuts down the audience going, well, he can just sneak in. He's a master of disguise. Like, master of disguise will get you so far.
Yes. And then also the point, which we were kind of getting at too, Anya not being there also adds mystery since she couldn't read Desmond's mind to see what he's really thinking by Charles there. Yeah. Because then we would know, and I better that we don't.
Yeah.
But Anya's cute moment of, and I'm kind of curious how, I mean, we know a little bit about how her powers work, but like, it's the idea of how people think differently in terms of, are you thinking essentially in text or visuals? So her getting the visual memory for Desmond was really like, for second son of knowing you just he wants his dad to like him and approve him.
Well, and also, I think in terms of what she can get, I think Anya only gets surface thoughts as they happen. Because we also have her going, I'm not sure that dad loves me, but I believe in him enough that I still show him my grades even when they're bad. So
He's
it's
always
facing
mad
that
at
fear.
me.
He's
I'm glad he
always
heard
mad at
that
me.
though, because he's like, oh, Anya.
Yeah. So yeah, just that and just saying like, yeah, no, this is how I feel about things, but I still face up to that fear. Like that is incredibly genuine from like a 5-year-old. That is incredibly genuine and a lot more emotionally intelligent than I think we usually get in scenarios like this. And the fact that it is that emotionally intelligent and that it worked, and again, it's also something she's saying in front where she knows her dad is around and can probably hear her. Like, what a good scene.
I think she
What a good
seemed,
scene.
she knew he was around because she could hear him, but she was still didn't know why too. Of why to,
yeah. But
We
yeah,
also-
like Lloyd probably whenever he's interacting with her, like there's always that second stream of thoughts talking about the operation, planning ahead, going through all of the different options and all of the different like, okay, if this is a thing, then this is our backup, or we try this, or we try not a lot of, hey, I'm really proud of this kid. Cause like that's not how he thinks. So being able to hear everything he thinks and hearing none of that as a kid, it's like oof.
Or he seems to have those thoughts when she's not awake.
Yeah.
We have moments he looks at her and he's like, wow, okay, this kid's pretty cool. And then she's like dead asleep. So
well, and that's also when he doesn't have to worry about like interacting with her, planning things, seeing how best to like you think.
But he's learned he finally can't control kids, so
yeah. Just that shot of him and then Bond and Anya running away is like, yeah.
We barely got any Yor in this episode, which is okay, but it's like, oh, it was just hi, bye.
That special delivery cutaway. And then the big deal about him making a copy of her keychain and it costing like $10 instead of 300. It's like, yep. I just love the show going. We know how expensive that was. We're having fun. We're poking at things because it's funny. Like it's all the little details. I appreciate that.
And then how he's trying to look for it and everything was just so convenient. Of oh no, I dropped something. Have you seen it?
This means a lot to my daughter, and it's not around here.
Can I come to your house to apologize? It's like,
please,
back it up a little bit. Yeah, I think those were the main things. Were there any other moments that stood out?
It was very much a lot of conversation and a lot of. I really did love we get like half of the face would be the expression that Lloyd was wearing, and then half of the face would be a reflection of what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, that's fun. That is a fun. It's not a trick of animation. That is a fun stylistic decision. I really like.
Or when he was in incognito in his costume, and then we saw his real face, and then that was like, by the way, that's our dude.
Yeah.
Like, okay, nice. Reiterating, which we're like, oh yes. So one, Charles points out, so glad there's a season 2 and a movie have already been confirmed for this year. Woo!
Oh my god, yes.
Because this was a nice way to be this was a good to be continued. We got the initial meeting. Damien was told, by the way, maybe my daughter really just wants to be your friend, and he's blushing. And
he's like, I want to be her friend too. Wait. Like, oh, buddy, it's too late now.
Yes.
You've had a little too much. God, poor Damien getting yanked around in the back and forth of this. Of like, didn't you care that I got hurt? Like, didn't you care about any of this?
He did a tiny bit, apparently.
And just you can never truly understand what someone is thinking, but you still need to walk alongside them. It's like, that life lessons from Spy Family.
Yeah. Any other things that stood out to you in this episode?
Not really. I mean, I
No,
don't think
that's
we
good.
need to really recap the
No.
conversation beat by beat.
I feel that was the
So,
main big things. If there are other
yep.
moments that stood out to you, leave a comment. Let us know.
Yeah.
All right. I feel this is it's such an interesting start the new year energy that I'm like, woo.
No,
Okay.
I'm tired. I'm just like, oh.
Well, since we did have a holiday, were there any things that you read, watched, or did that you would recommend for people to check out?
Everything I did was something I had already done before. There was not a lot of new. I went home with my parents. It's a lot of reality TV. We watched a lot of what we call Trashy Boat Show, but is actually called
Yes.
Below Decks.
Yep. You've
Still
talked
love
about
it.
that. That sounds
Yep.
fun.
Still love it. Still ridiculous. Watched Glass Onion for what was the first time for everyone else and the second time for me. A lot more fun the second time around now that you know what to look for. And still amazing. Janelle Monáe still kills it. Very happy that we have a third Knives Out movie confirmed. And at this point, it's only been confirmed. Scripting has not started yet, but also evidently both Rian Johnson and oh my God, I just lost his name, Benoit.
And what? Oh, Daniel Craig?
Thank you. Thank you. I was stuck on Craig. Like, that's not his first name. What's happening? They've seen all the bits going around where people going, okay, but we need a Muppets Knives Out. And we've gone, yeah, no, that'd be fun. So, like, maybe the fourth Knives Out movie is a Muppet movie?
Gig Derek asked, did you win the game last night?
I did. We did. I was going to talk about that when we hit the sign off, but yes,
right.
I streamed for 4 hours last night. We finished Chaos Island, which I can't in good conscience recommend because it is a Jurassic Park game from 1997, which means I've talked about this a little bit. It had 90% functionality, and that was me struggling to get things work well enough to stream. And that extra 10% functionality really will heck you up sometimes because it's all that 10% functionality goes into, oh, well, the font's no longer readable, so there are no numbers here. You have no idea how many supplies you have. Good luck. Or, yeah, the emulator you're using isn't really behaving very well, so it's not registering mouse clicks. So 3 of your dinosaurs just died. Sorry about that. It's that extra 10% that's like that missing 10% that's like, that was fun. But yeah, we did finish. My wonderful roommate joined me for the stream. So yeah, my wonderful roommate joined me, and she had not watched any of the game. She only knew what I had told her about it. So that got really funny. So yeah, to all of you watching who joins us in chat, thank you. It was a blast. Everyone coming up with the dinosaur-themed Starbucks drinks was absolutely wonderful. Watch the VOD, dude. That's why it's there. That's on my YouTube. No, it's not Fire Emblem. Nobody ever really dies in these games. It was geared at like 8 to 12-year-olds. It was a real-time strategy game geared towards the younger crowd. They didn't really go too deeply into things. And it was based on, The Lost World, the movie. So clicking on Eddie, you click on someone in a strategy game and they have a little voice line that tells you who you've clicked on. Eddie's is occasionally, didn't I die in the movie? I think I died. It's just like, cool. When I played this as a kid, I hadn't watched the movie. Playing it as an adult is like, thanks for the existential crisis. That's very fun. What the fuck? So, and they got all of the original actors to reprise their parts and read lines for this game. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's very, very fun. So Jeff Goldblum chewing the scenery as he does mission recaps is just chef kiss. It's so good. So yeah, again, I can't in good conscience recommend it because it's difficult to find, difficult to set up, and difficult to play just because of software incompatibilities from 25 years. I got 26. 26. It was 1997 and it's 2023 now. 25, 26 years ago. A little tough to deal with, but if that's your jam, it's fun. It is fun. And if you just want to watch me play through it like a total goober, existential. Yep. If you want to watch me play through it like just a complete nerd, the VOD is all on my YouTube channel. It's about 8 hours to get through this game, including the multiple level failures and not realizing a few tricks I could have used to beat the level on account of being unable to read the text. So, yeah, it gets a little wild. But yes. So, again, that's a thing I did, but I can't recommend it.
That's fair.
Read Discworld. I've been rereading Discworld novels because that is my life right now. Just finished for like the third time in 6 months Unseen Academicals, which it turns out is one of my favorites now. So read Discworld. They're all by the late great Sir Terry Pratchett. It is fantasy satire based on the real world, but taking place on the world of the Disc, which is a flat circle on the back of 4 elephants riding on the Great Atuin, a sea turtle who is swimming through space. It is some of the best damn satire I've ever read in my life. Sir Terry Pratchett was a very angry man and knew how to use it. These are books where I've had to put them down because I was laughing too hard to keep going and I needed a minute to calm down. And books where I've had to put them down because you follow the plot, you follow the characters, it's a great story, and then you get about a sentence and a half of life truth that just hits you in the face like the flat side of a shovel, and you need a minute to recover. So, yes, read Discworld. There is a little map available online that tells you what the good starting points are. My recommended starting point is always going postal. So that's the one I recommend. But Guards, The Weird Sisters, and Mort are all also completely legitimate starting points. Have fun. Let me know what you're reading. It is 150% worth it.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Watched a couple things over the holidays. One was I finally saw Don't Worry, Darling, which I don't understand why people hated on it so much. Like, is it amazing? No. Is it bad? No.
It's there.
Yeah, like I think I saw someone, I was just kind of scrolling on Twitter because it was trending. I'm like, well, why is it trending right now? But somebody's just like, oh my gosh, like talking about it as if they've never watched a movie like it, which if you watch a lot of sci-fi stuff and like, you know, if you watch a lot of film, you've seen other things like it. It doesn't necessarily bring anything super new and fresh. I think it, and then again, not to say that it's bad, but like I watched it and I enjoyed it enough.
It's there.
It's there.
It sure is a movie.
It sure is a movie, and it was entertaining enough. So sure, like don't go in thinking it was awful. And I feel there's definitely a lot of weird drama going on around it, which I also am still like, why?
But whatever. That's what made it. I think that's what put it so much in people's minds, and it might have predisposed them to like it more or to want to go in to hate it because of everything that happened. Like, I don't know. I know what the movie's about. I read the plot synopsis, but I'm not going to pass judgment on it because I haven't seen it. But yeah, it just seems like it sure is a movie.
Yeah. There's other movies that have done similar concepts better, and I wish it brought something new because there's nothing wrong with using a concept that's been already done before. Totally. There's plenty of movies that, piece from other ones. Great. Yeah, what is your new spin on it? What do you bring differently to it? So
there's only 9 stories in the world. Execution is everything.
Yes. Speaking of execution, and then also a similar thing and I don't necessarily want to compare it to these other ones because then you're going to think like that. But then again, in trying to explain it, I'm like, sure. Violent Night is amazing. That is essentially like Die Hard meets Home Alone with Santa Claus. And
like,
it is
if Die Hard extremely is a Christmas movie,
if it actually
without a doubt.
Yes. And there's Home Alone stuff. There is Santa, like Santa. It's Hopper from Stranger Things as Santa Claus, which he is fantastic. And
David Harbour?
Yeah, I was like, oh, what is his name?
David Harbour, I think.
Yeah, David Harbour. Yeah, I don't know how you, sorry, sir. I don't know how you say your last name.
I'm going to put the emphasis on the wrong syllable there, but
yes.
That guy.
That guy, and he's so funny. It is very violent, thus Violent Night. There's lots of over-the-top action, and it's very funny. also it has, oh, and I'm like, wait, what's his name too? The live action Cowboy Bebop. What is the live? It's the guy who's the bad guy.
The guy who's the bad guy evidently also played one of the flunkies in Die Hard, and so he's been promoted for Violent Night.
That's funny. Alex Hassel. Yes. Because he popped up on, and I didn't know going to the movie, and I'm just like, that guy has a really unique face. Like, he just has an interesting look to him. He was very entertaining, or he is very entertaining in the movie. Movies are present tense because the movie always exists. So yeah, it is in theaters, I think.
On HBO.
But you can rent it for an at-home one, which we did. So it was really cool. Another fun one, which new episodes are coming out on Thursdays, I think, because it was one of those I binged it and caught up, is the National Treasure Edge of History is on Disney Plus. So if you're a National Treasure fan, or if you have never seen them, but you like puzzle solving, escape rooms, mystery, history stuff, you should watch it. Also on this channel, go check it out from Comic-Con. I got to talk to the cast and the showrunners for it, and it's very fun. Like, I like the National Treasure movies a lot. They're super fun movies, and the show is similarly entertaining. I feel they bring updated it in a fresh way in terms of how people use technology. You know, how younger people would think first of like, okay, well, let's check their Instagram. You know, I buy it, and it's a little bit more of American history stuff told a little differently in North America, and so it's very entertaining. And I was excited to get to episode 4, and then they're like, new episode next on coming up Thursday. I'm like, I have to
wait. Come on.
It was all dropped, so boo. But that's okay. But again, go watch those interviews here on this channel, the Comic-Con playlist, because all those, it's one of those, it's always nice when you meet the actors and they're nice, and I felt everybody was really fun to talk to and really nice. So yeah. Disney Plus.
Alrighty.
All right. Anything else before we wrap up here?
Not that I can think of.
All right, then stuff you would like to plug. You kind of did already, but still, anything else you'd like to share?
A little bit, it came up. I'm Katie. You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch. I have gotten back to streaming. I did finish Jurassic Park Chaos Island: The Lost World. Yes, it has 3 titles, all connected by colons. It's the 90s, y'all. So that VOD is available on my YouTube channel. YouTube channel is also where all the reactions, all the reviews, etc. live. If you enjoy horror stuff, I'm a co-host on Silver Screams on YouTube. That is me and my roommate having a lot of fun looking at horror things. And because it's coming out this weekend, I've talked about it before, but check out our reaction to the Megan trailer, which is, again, she knew what we were looking at going in. I didn't. And so it's a minute of intro, a minute of trailer, and 14 minutes of me trying to recover from psychic damage on camera. So very fun. Very fun. So yeah, check all of those out. Follow me on the Twitch because I'm going to try to stream more games, not all of which are from the 90s with 90% functionality. I'm going to try to do something slightly more modern, see if that works better. So yeah, follow, check it out, all that fun stuff. We're just playing it as it lies, you know.
That's the way to do it for sure.
Yep.
I have not streamed playing games, so I'm like, I couldn't say, but it sounds like you're doing it. You got through a game, so most people.
I did. 8 hours of a game meant for 8-year-olds. It was great. It was great. It was actually a lot of fun. A lot of me.
That matters. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of me attempting best laid plans and then things going hilariously wrong, or
sounds
exploring
like movie though in the plot, you know.
Oh my god, or like exploring the map to open it up and then seeing something and going, oh no, come back. It's just a lot of screaming this past stream. A lot of screaming. Anyway, if that's what you're there for, it's a good time.
Right? Yes. And y'all can find me online at Carrie D Lane. That's KARIDLANE across all platforms. I was like, is there anything super specific out now? Not necessarily. Well, like I said, again, go check out the National Treasure playlist on this channel here on Fanversation. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up. thumbs up, click the subscribe button and the notification bell so then you know when our videos are going up, because we are 90-ish% of the time, specifically 7:30 on Monday. Sometimes it's a little, because it's Monday energy, but we are here for you all.
Little timey-wimey, we are doing our best.
Yes.
Professional adjacent.
Yes, and we're here for all of you, which thank you very much for being here.
Yes.
And again, if you're watching it later, leave a comment down below. Thank you for everybody who's in our live chat, and we'll see you all next week.
Happy
And again,
New Year.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
All right.
Yay!
Bye!